I was thinking that the Bartok little duos would kind of work well with that. I was thinking about the cocktail that I told you about.
Yeah, the ginger spice. No, the gin.
So it's grapefruit juice and gin and just a dash of cayenne pepper.
Great. And what do you call it?
I like Kijiji, but that might be a little too.
Can't wait. Okay, so that cocktail is going to be like an aperitif, and you're seeing the Bartok
Yeah,
duos as an aperitif.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Starting with that, because again, they are charming, and there's a range of them. They do have a little bit of that sort of Bartok spiciness, but on the whole, they're very innocent and meant, for yeah.
It's like right on the nose, right?
Okay, so this drink is an invention of mine, and I mostly invented it because we discovered that we have a grapefruit tree here that for the first couple years that we lived in this house did not bear any fruit, and so this year was a bit of a surprise, and we had a whole bunch of grapefruit. So these are grapefruits from our tree outside here in Tucson, and they are Arizona grapefruits, so there's not a whole lot of water in them because we don't have a whole lot of water anywhere. The recipe calls for 2 ounces of grapefruit juice, and you can put that right into this. This is a shaker with ice. Goes right in here. 2-to-1 ratio, so that's 2 there. If you spill a little extra in there, no one gets hurt, it's fine. Like a good vigorous shake. I keep these in the freezer. It's a very easy drink to make as long as you have grapefruit. Okay, and the next step is a little more controversial. When I suggested doing this drink, my wife told me that people might hate it. So you can do varying amounts of this, and this goes right at the end. It's just a little dash of red cayenne pepper. This one will be for Michelle. Just one tiny little bit there, and I'll put a little extra. What I really like about this drink is at the front of it, you get a lot of grapefruit and then just a little bit of gin, and then you get that surprise kick on the back end, so to speak.
It's like right on the nose, right?
Hello and welcome to our home concert. We're going to start the program with a selection from Bartok's 44 duos for 2 violins. They're a really wonderful set, and Bartok composed them with pedagogical intentions. And Bartok is such a great composer that even though they were meant to teach kids how to play his kind of music and how to better their technique on the violin, they're still really wonderful, colorful character pieces. So they were composed in order of difficulty, but we're going to sort of jump around from within the 44. The first one is called the Dance from Maramaros. Sorrow. Pillow dance. Bagpipes. Pizzicato. lastly, Transylvanian dance.
Video.
So, hey, that was awesome. Thank you so much.
Sure, yeah, that was fun.
So tell me a little bit about the Bartok.
So there are 44 duos, and they're all really fun. They're sort of graded to be, I think, pedagogical. And so they start from really easy and they go all the way to quite tricky. And I think for Bartok, they were meant to be an introduction, not just for violin technique, but also in terms of having students learn sort of his 20th century language.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Now that's a new countertop you were mentioning. Did you build that, Tim? Like how is tell me about that.
Oh, I wish. No, we had that built actually.
So yeah, the bar top, I mean, this bar top countertop was originally just a piece of plywood.
Okay.
And we always kind of wanted to do something different, like make it look like a real bar top.
Yeah.
We call it our Bela Bartok.
That is so good. That is so good. The Bela Bartok. Do you really call it that, or you just make that up because of the Bartok?
Just now.
Did you see? I should replay the video right now. You should see. He started getting this little look in his eyebrow arches, usually the right one, right? I know Tim so well because, I mean, I played with him for how many years in the Afiara and on all our tours, but this goes up. His lips purse a little bit. He smiles to himself. His eyes gleam. And if there's an opening, he'll jump in.
Yeah.
Michelle, did you hear the story? Tim had just moved to Toronto to work with us in the Afiara. And it was just the beginning of all our adventures. And we were moving in this car and I was lost. We were looking for a gas station. So I called the gas station and asking him, could you give me directions to where you are? And what's your major cross section? And the person said, Mitch. And I said, sorry, Mitch? Like, which street is that? I was like, no. Oh, sorry. I thought you asked me for my name. And Tim was standing there in his truck, like waiting for me on the phone. And he goes, oh, he must have Mitch understood. We need to do a replay of your reaction.
I mean, you know, when he comes up with the really, really good ones, then I fall for it. But now it's just...
You fall for it or you fall for him?
So we actually met playing the Prokofiev Duo. Michelle was planning to put it on her recital at CIM, and asked me to perform with her, and so we decided to play it and got to know each other that way. And so we performed it a whole bunch of times since then. And in fact, we had on our wedding cake, we had it sort of printed and wrapped around the cake as a sort of subtle nod to that element.
I love it. I love it. Now the opening measures, like which part of the Prokofiev did you commemorate to a wedding cake?
It was the third movement, because the third movement is kind of the sweet, sort of slow movement. It's very beautiful. And,
we also wanted people to be able to look at it and try and figure out what it was just by looking at it. So something that was a little notable, I guess.
so to speak.
now, and so, Michelle, when you asked Tim to play with you, did you already have romantic inclinations towards him?
No, I just knew that he was, a very attractive, successful violinist that had played this piece before.
There's something about it. It's a really good piece, but also it just tends to lead to romance. I was giving a master class a couple years ago, and there were these two students playing the piece, and when they finished playing, I was, we were going to talk about the piece and talk about the performance, and I thought, should I ask them how long they've been dating? Should I just do it? And I decided not to, and then later I found out that they had just started dating.
At that time, at the masterclass?
Well, not at the masterclass, but when putting together the piece.
Wow. Okay, now tell me about it. What do you think it is? What about the piece does it for you? Is it that third movement?
It's, let's see. It is both intellectually stimulating and sweet, and it attracts a very specific kind of nerdy violinist.
So nerdy violinists should apply.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The idea is you want any remaining water in the sauce to absorb into the pasta so that the two are married.
Oh. Try not to spill the pasta outside the pot.
To make an omelet, you gotta break a few eggs.
But we have a lot of help from Seppi. Seppi, he's ready. He's ready to catch everything, right, Seppi?
Yeah, look at that.
It's dinner time here.
Tuna pasta, or pasta col tonno.
Enjoy your dinner. And the Prokofiev. We're all going?
Prokofiev wrote in his autobiography about this piece that sometimes bad music can inspire good things. Apparently, Prokofiev had heard a not so very good piece for two violins and was inspired to write something better. He said there are limitations to this medium of having two soprano instruments, but he said it should be good enough for 10-15 minutes of music. And that he did. He created a really nice piece. It's sort of a difficult ensemble to write for, having two high-up instruments without the foundation of a cello and the richness of a viola or even a piano. But he came up with something that's really, really both elegant and fun.
This dessert is called pot de creme, and it's basically just fancy chocolate pudding. And it's a recipe from the owner of Luna Bakery, which was a bakery that opened in Cleveland when I was living there. I think we like pairing it with the Pleyel because it's very simple, but just, tasty and easy to enjoy. So
Great. There. But you see a certain charm in the Pleyel.
Yeah, I do. He's not a name that most of us know now, but he was a really big deal in his time, and critics at the time talked about the Pleyel craze, and he was kind of a rock star of his day. And I think it's because his music is really, really accessible, sort of easy to understand, and very sweet. And so it's not, I wouldn't call it profound, but it's still really sweet and charming. And actually a really smart guy. He was one of the early, he was a music publisher and a piano maker as well, and had sort of 3 different parallel careers.
Wow, that's awesome. I like that kind of thing.